some good armies. He knows some dirty tricks, and I think I've only managed to win against him once by pure luck. So this should be a good series, a good best of 5. First player to 3 victories. The map is Osaka Plains. And I see that I have the wrong thumbnail up again. Unfortunately, I don't know why. I changed it in the YouTube settings, but sometimes YouTube doesn't manage to register the upload, which is too bad. I've done it like 5 times now, but it still shows the wrong thumbnail. Quite annoying, that. This is the standard Shogun 2 vanilla, not Fall of the Samurai. Murky Pumpkin is almost done, so we should have the game up and running pretty soon. There's always some waiting in these tournament battles, because players aren't ready and such. The Marvelous says, mind the rules, play fair, good luck, and may the best player win. And I concur. I've already said good luck, have fun, so... the formalities are off the table. I don't know what the rules and the bans are for this particular tournament, the Illuminated Championship. But I could try... well, I'm not going to check that right now. Oh, Murky Pumpkin puts it in here. 8 max spears, 8 max cavalry, 4 max of the same unit, no gun cavalry, and maximum 3 bow cavalry. So here we are, Osaka Plains. AnLeiTung versus Murky Pumpkin. This is a fairly balanced map. 3 dojos, of course, and central island, which makes this map a decent map for defending and going rather skirmish heavy, I think. Whoever rushes across the river against a strong skirmish army is going to have some issues. It seems to me that the balance of power ever so slightly favors AnLeiTung, but that doesn't matter too much. It can matter, but it's not really a clear indication of the capabilities of the armies. Now here we have the farmhouse, increases stamina and movement speed. We have the shrine, increasing morale of all units, potentially important. But this one right here, on this particular map, is a very, very important dojo. The archery dojo, which it increases reload rate of all missile units, and it can be used to reload missile units. So that means that the player able to capture this dojo on the island is going to have a higher rate of fire, and is also going to be able to reload his ammunition. So that could potentially be very, very useful. And then the cool thing about Shogun 2 is that hill camping can't really be a thing, because if you decide to hill camp over here, for example, the enemy is just going to capture the dojos and then win by default. AnLeiTung is ready. Murky Pumpkin is almost done. I've faced the exact same army that AnLeiTung is bringing here before, and I called it a monstrosity, his army. We'll take a look at it when the game starts here. But this army is a nightmare to face if you don't come prepared for it. And I think AnLeiTung uses it very well. So he has a Yari cavalry on each flank, upgraded attack, defense, charge, it seems. Then he has some Matchlock Ashigaru, 2 Matchlock Ashigaru on the flanks. In the center he has Matchlock Samurai, so 2 Matchlock Samurai. Portuguese Terricos, bow cavalry. These guys have 77 accuracy and 45 ammunition, so they are going to be able to do a lot of damage for an extended period of time. Then we have Yari cavalry, Matchlock warrior monks, Yari cavalry, and Naginata attendants. So the only real infantry for AnLeiTung here are these Naginata attendants. Everything else is cavalry or matchlocks, and I believe he has a total of 7 matchlocks here, rushing forward. For Murky Pumpkin, we have flanks consisting of fire cavalry, Yari cavalry, light cavalry, Yari cavalry, and Yari Ashigaru. More Yari Ashigaru, so total of 4 Yari Ashigaru. Yari samurai, some Katana Samurai, Hekken Samurai, Naginata Samurai. And his general is a melee general, whereas the general of AnLeiTung is, he's bow general, I believe. Let's see here. Yeah, he's most definitely a bow general. 200 range, armor piercing. He can already start to fire on these Yari Ashigaru, and he's already doing damage. So pushing up with the Yari Samurai here is Murky Pumpkin. But the Yari Samurai could just get shot to pieces here by the Matchlock Ashigaru. But still nice that he's able to deny this dojo from AnLeiTung. Sending out the cavalry. AnLeiTung sends in some Yari cavalry. Murky Pumpkin's Yari cavalry gets shot in the back on the way out, and they're already wavering. Very nicely done here. AnLeiTung did the exact same thing to me when we played. Stays at range, picks apart the important units, baits the cavalry, and this 200 range Avatar's bodyguard, he's already killed 10 men. We have some bow cavalry here, doing damage to the Matchlock Ashigaru. That's a nice move, because AnLeiTung doesn't have the range over here to support. Let's see if the Matchlock Ashigaru managed to get a shot off. Over here as well, the bow cavalry rushing up. I know the Yari Samurai are taking a lot of damage, losing decisively there against the Matchlock Ashigaru. Let's say if they're able to make it into these matchlocks, they could do a lot of damage here. But AnLeiTung is pulling away, being content to stay and defend, but it denies him the ability to have the archery dojo, which could be important.
Have been discovered, my lord.
Being very aggressive here with this general, wanting to bait out units that then rush in and get wrecked by like this. The light cavalry gets wrecked by Matchlock warrior monks. The Yari cavalry takes a lot of damage as well. And over here the Matchlocks of AnLeiTung They're getting a lot of kills here. The Yori Samurai about to get shot off the field, but a hard push here on the flanks by Murky Pumpkin. If he can make it in, AnLei doesn't really have any staying power in his army. He needs to kite, and he needs to kite right now. Yori Yoshigaru pushing away his guys, but this light cavalry manages to make it into the Matchlock Samurai. And over here as well, he's doing a good job with his Yori Yoshigaru against the Naginata attendants. It seems like the Yori cavalry gets into the Matchlock Warrior Monks here as well. AnLeiTung is pulling back, but he's already lost quite a few of his important units. Murky Pumpkin though taking a lot of damage from the range of AnLeiTung. So if AnLeiTung can take care of the cavalry of Murky Pumpkin, then he could kite Murky Pumpkin to death. But AnLeiTung is sending in his Yori cavalry, and he can afford to lose some cavalry, whereas Murky Pumpkin can't really afford to lose his cavalry. Just sending in bow cavalry here to sort of stop these units. Very nicely done here with the bow cavalry. 75 kills on the bow cavalry from Murky Pumpkin. But the Matchlock Yoshigaru kiting away, they're doing a lot of damage. Yori cavalry, 52 kills, getting into the Yori cavalry of Murky Pumpkin, breaking them there. The Matchlock Yoshigaru get hit by, let's see, they get hit by some light cavalry though. Nice use of that light cavalry. It's going to be really interesting to see whether AnLei has the guns left to be able to kill what Murky Pumpkin has left, because Murky Pumpkin has a lot of units just chasing AnLei's, and AnLei doesn't have any melee infantry really.
Our men are running from the battlefield.
So he can only do damage at range. Only damage at range. He can only use his cavalry to try and stop this mad dash that Murky Pumpkin is putting forth here. But I think Murky Pumpkin has done a decent job in engaging. Yori Samurai about to break. A few more volleys and the unit could break. Let's see here. Getting hit by a cavalry charge by the Yori cavalry should break the unit. But now the Yori cavalry is breaking, and this is bad for AnLei. He's kiting like a boss here, but it's not going to be easy for him at all.
Are running from the battlefield.
The general sniping with his 200 range. But AnLei is running out of space to maneuver on pretty soon. And Murky Pumpkin is getting ever closer. Murky also has some matchlocks of his own. They could be very important, the Matchlock Warrior Monks. The Naginata Warrior Monks get wrecked there by gunfire. AnLei doesn't have too much left. The Yori Yoshigaru managed to get into the Portuguese Terricos. And if these Yori Yoshigaru manage to get in as well without breaking, this Portuguese Terrico is going to be dead. Very dead. And now here, this could be important. The Naginata Samurai getting into the Yori cavalry of AnLei. And that's the end of the Yori cavalry, of course. Here we have the melee general of... the melee general of Murky Pumpkin rushing in.
Shameful display!
And I don't see AnLei having the fire support here to be able to kill the general fast enough. He could do it with his own general, but the melee general isn't going to go down anytime soon. The bow cavalry now in combat with the melee cavalry. That's not a good time for the bow cavalry. Nicely done here with the bow cavalry of AnLei charging into the Matchlock Warrior Monks. Managing to disorganize them and kill quite a few of their number actually. But this does not look good for AnLeiTung. Hello, Wesley Roberts. So that was a comment to a comment to the live stream. But it looks like, surprisingly, it looks like AnLei is going to have significant problems in the late game here. He's being chased all around the battlefield. He didn't manage to kill all of the cavalry of Murky Pumpkin, and Murky Pumpkin used his cavalry very, very well. Now though, this general is taking fire from the 200 range bodyguard of AnLei, and also taking, ooh, this is huge, he's also taking Matchlock Ashigaru fire. That could be it for the general. It looks like the general is going to die. And now things get really, really interesting, because if this general here dies, we could see a lot of the units. Oh, he managed to survive there. 3 men left in the unit. But he is wavering. Manages to get into the bow cavalry, and the bow cavalry is going to die, but it could give this bodyguard the time they need to finish off these units, should AnLei so choose. But he chooses instead to pull away, do some damage to the Naginata Samurai. He does have a unit of Matchlock Ashigaru left over here. Now the cavalry of both the cavalry of AnLei and Murky Pumpkin waver and break here. So now there are only 3 men left in the Avatar's bodyguard here. Didn't manage to kill anything with that volley. And now the general is constantly wavering. Doing a nice job here in trying to surround and trap the general of AnLeiTung though is Murky Pumpkin. But he doesn't have any cavalry other than his general. And these remaining Matchlock Samurai and Matchlock Ashigaru, together with the 200 range of the Avatar's bodyguard, could be enough to get AnLei the victory here. Although it's going to be super close. Bo5 firing point blank into the Katana Samurai. But this is where it's at. The few remaining gunpowder units, I think. And of course the bow general of AnLei as well. A very dangerous unit in the late game. Well, the Migs is asking if I'm going to be streaming tournaments more often now, and maybe, because the way it basically works is that I don't have a schedule. I just get asked by someone, well, can you do a live commentary for this tournament? And if I have the time, I'll say yes. But these things are usually not planned. Like I was notified of this 20 minutes before it happened, so I don't have time to notify people that is going on. So I'm just going to be commenting, recording, then it's going to be uploaded so people can watch it afterwards, of course. But if tournaments happen that have a more of a set schedule where people know when they're going to be playing each other and such, then absolutely I'm going to be notifying people when the tournaments are going to be played and when I'm going to be live casting them. Let's see, Matchlock Samurai getting a few shots off here, but this is problematic because now the Naginata Samurai could get into the Matchlock Samurai, and they do. They manage to rear charge.
Our men are running
The Katana Samurai also taking a lot of damage.
Shameful display.
Let's see if the Yori Ashigaru... I don't know how much ammunition is left here on the General's bodyguard of AnLei. It's going to take him quite some time to kill this unit of Katana Samurai with his bow cavalry. But when you have 45 ammunition, even though you only kill a few men at a time, it's going to be it's going to be possible with that amount of ammunition and with the AP on the arrows. Now, smartly done here by Murky Pumpkin. He's going for the shrine to increase his morale. And what AnLei could, of course, do is he could, if he starts to run out of ammunition, he could try to go for a sneaky reload over at the archery dojo. These guys are shaken, so it might not take much to break them, and AnLei is doing the smart thing here. He's starting to focus on the single Katana Samurai with his bodyguard and with his bow cav. And they're dropping fast to the fire of the bodyguard of AnLei. I think the thing with Matchlock Oshigaru is that they are so insanely cheap that even though they have short range, if you bring 4 of those and you bring if you bring Matchlock Monks and you bring Samurai, then you can have a gun line. Try to make the enemy come to you, have a gun line, and it's not going to give you the range that the Bow Samurai is going to give you, but it's going to give you great stopping power. I like the Mix is saying, I really hope to see not necessarily dojos, but strategic points on the battlefield in Warhammer as well. Sending in the general here, presumably just to stop the samurai unit, so that he's able to get a volley off with this Matchlock Oshigaru. That was quite nicely done by AnLei, because these Katana Samurai now had to turn around, and now they're going to be facing... Ooh, but the Matchlock Oshigaru are wavering. Because when the only objective on the battlefield is to kill the enemy, that can make for some pretty boring battles. Having the morale shrine now is very nice for Murky Pumpkin. And Murky Pumpkin is also going to go and try to take the archery dojo. Is he out of ammunition here? If he's out of ammunition, that could be huge. And he's doing the same thing again, baiting, stopping with the Matchlock Oshigaru, turning around and trying to... Well, he's just basically buying himself some time here doing what he's doing. If they don't respond to the rear charge, they might break. If they don't continue to chase the Matchlock Oshigaru, they could get shot by the Matchlock Oshigaru. So over here, AnLei is decapping the morale shrine with his bow cavalry. Smartly done. And what's wrong with your Milk and Cookies Total War? What's wrong with your Shogun 2? Milk and Cookies Total War is saying he wishes his Shogun 2 actually worked. So now Murky Pumpkin will not have the luxury of increased morale on his units. That could be a problem for him. So you can see that his Yori Oshigaru now instantly start to waver. But this is super close. And now trying to capture the morale shrine is AnLeiTung. He has to dismount his bow cavalry in order to do that, but I don't really see these units being able to make it over here in time to stop the cap, and it doesn't seem like Murky Pumpkin wants to even try, which makes sense. There are some units in hiding somewhere in the forest. Well, that sucks, Indy Pride. This is probably one of the longest games I've seen. AnLei is of course waiting for this unit of bow cavalry to cap the dojo. Now he's capped the dojo, and if he went and got this... If he went and captured this farmhouse, then all of his units would be faster, and that would help his Matchlock Oshigaru in kiting, I think. Bro Reale says he can't see the stream. Is that a problem for anyone else? Now Indie Pride, I mean AnLeiTung is going to be able to get the farmhouse as well. And here we go, the Katana Samurai coming out of the forest. Okay, cool. So people are saying they can see it just fine. Okay, thanks. Thanks for that. Oh yeah, YouTube gaming is shit for mobile. I couldn't get it to work on my... I couldn't get it to work on my iPad or my mobile because I'm in Norway and it's not released for Norway yet for some odd reason. Well, I think my advice for AnLei is... let's just say he's a significantly better player than I am in Shogun 2. I think we played something like 10 games in a row. I won the first one, got pretty confident, and then I got wrecked 9 games in a row. Also against this particular army. Yori Samurai getting shot to pieces. But they're wavering, but they did... Oh, they broke. Yep, they shattered. So that's one less unit to deal with. And now he's trying to do the same sneaky thing with his avatar's bodyguard. But this time, Murky Pumpkin doesn't fall for it. But AnLei could break this unit with a rear charge. And he manages to get in. He gets caught with his bodyguard. But now he could try to turn around and fire with this unit of Matchlock Ashigaru. Let's see. That could hit both units here. He's not turning around to fire. This would be a great opportunity for him to get some shots off into these Yori Ashigaru. They are one volley off from breaking. Let's see. Now the Matchlock Ashigaru are in position. They're going to fire. Should break this Yori Ashigaru with a solid volley. But nope, AnLei pulls away. And yeah, that's the thing. With bows, you're going to be able to do damage from longer range for a long period of time, but you're not going to be able to have the stopping power of matchlocks. So most people, I mean, some people use bows very well, but I think most people bring matchlocks for the killing power, the stopping power. I think this might be the longest game ever in Shogun 2. Certainly the longest one I've watched. But it was kind of in the cards, going by the two armies. One very skirmish, heavy army, skirmish cavalry, and one army with very little skirmish and a lot of infantry. And then it is going to turn into a kite fest. And both players wary of engaging each other now, and I don't really blame them. One micro mistake and this game is lost for both players, but AnLei is going to move up. He has the luxury of range. Let's see, the Matchlock Ashigaru looks like they're going to be trained on the Naginata Samurai. Let's see how many men they kill. Yeah, the morale penalty is also massive. That goes with the stopping power. So these guys are wavering now from the matchlock fire. The general rushes in. No, he doesn't want to. It looks like he's out of ammunition, that he spent all of his 45 ammunition. This must be so frustrating for Murky Pumpkin. Yes, Matchlock Ashigaru are indeed like the Levy Freemen of Rome. Imagine if Levy Freemen had headhunt, then they would be like the Lone Sword Ashigaru. And now starting to cap the farmhouse, increasing the stamina and speed of his units here. Let's see, do these guys have more ammunition left? Yep, looks like they do. Still holding their matchlocks. Now he's moving up again with the Matchlock Ashigaru. 116 kills. 142, and 172. Those are some pretty good numbers for those units. 90, 97. And I'm amazed that these Yori Ashigaru haven't even broken yet. They should break any minute. Yep, they're broken, and that should be game. This unit, one charge away from breaking, and now I think AnLei is going to go into the rear, break the unit instantly. Yep, broke the unit. Now only a unit of Naginata Samurai left. And that's a GG, finally. A lot closer than what I thought it would be. I think Murky Pumpkin did a good job defending his cavalry, did a good job getting into the matchlocks. But when there are 6 or 7 matchlocks, the late game kiting is going to be annoying as hell when you don't have any cavalry. Now in the closed alpha you can just apply normally to be in the closed alpha of arena. But it depends on your region as well, so it might be harder to get in, say, if you're from Norway. If I was going to get in and I didn't get in, I would probably say I was from the UK, and then I would probably get in within 3 seconds. Just a little friendly tip there. So let's see, yeah, the bodyguard does well, the bow cavalry does well, the Portuguese Terrico was 173, but it just... I mean, 2 Naginata attendants, that's it. 3 Naginata attendants for his infantry. And for Murky Pumpkin, his general does well, his Yori Samurai do well. But everything else, nothing really stands out here. The Yori Ashigaru didn't have anything to kill. And the Matchlock Warrior Monks, not really an impressive display by them either. So AnLei takes the first battle. He's up 1-0. He needs to win 2 more to defeat Murky Pumpkin. Yeah, like Andrea's saying, the view counter in YouTube gaming is a little fucked up. There are a lot of things with YouTube gaming that currently are a little fucked up, but hopefully they will improve. Like the thumbnail gets screwed up, and sometimes the descriptions get screwed up, but that also happens with just standard YouTube videos. Well, I mean, 5 people could be watching this. You are the best 5 people, though. Indie Pride says, "Ravage me, you big, strong, manly Norwegian." Thanks, I guess. Okay, so Murky Pumpkin picks the map Daisutsan. Or Daisetsuzan Basin. Yeah, the counter is a bit screwed up. I watched the Heir of Carthage stream as well, and they were like maybe 100 people watching with the counter. I think there were significantly more. The chat was going like Yeah, YouTube streaming is weird. But I do prefer it to Twitch. I used Twitch for some time, but I like having everything in one place. I think if they fix some of the issues they have with this, I think it can be really, a really good streaming service. Yeah, Twitch isn't close to perfect either. But it's nice to be able to do this live and to talk to you guys while doing it. If Indie Pride's game worked, could have invited him to do the co-commentary, but apparently he can't get Shogun 2 to run at the moment. Didn't we play a few games a while back, Indie? I think we did. It's funny that you're saying that, Andrea, about the Shogun 2 graphics being better, because I was making the same comment to Indie Pride yesterday about the Call of Warhammer mod for Medieval 2, where the graphics are very outdated, but they look great. They look very distinct. They look great. I mean, the art style is very distinct, whereas in Rome 2 and Attila, it's just bland. It's not... Attila is slightly better than Rome 2, but it's bland and boring to look at, whereas Shogun 2 just pops out of the screen. The artwork, amazing. The color schemes, great. So yeah, I have to say I much prefer the art style and the graphics in Shogun 2 compared to Rome 2 and Attila. And that's Medieval 2 as well. Such an old game, but on new and powerful computers, it looks decent, considering how old it is. In my opinion, I would much rather have less of the fancy, flashy animations and much more of the solid art style artwork. I don't really need to see spinning backstab fists with axes. So now the question is whether AnLei is going to keep up with his MLG monstrosity of the matchlocks, or if he's going to go a bit more traditional. Because this was almost like a Fall of the Samurai battle, with the traditional army rushing into a gun line. Of course, it would be a lot worse if this was a Fall of the Samurai battle, because the gun units are better. Alright, they are ready, it seems. Oh yeah, the Total War Warhammer looks like an upgrade of the Call of Warhammer mod, it does. Yeah, that's true. What Indie Pride is saying, that Shogun 2 had crazy animations and great artwork. So those things aren't, of course, mutually exclusive. You can have both. AnLeiTung has a weird name. He's German, and AnLeiTung, everyone thinks it's Chinese, but AnLeiTung means instruction in German. Doesn't have anything to do with Chinese or Asian names. A bit of a troll there. A bit of a giveaway that the name is AnLeiTung zum Sieg. AnLeiTung for the victory. Or for the win. Just going to go grab a drink while they are readying up. Alright, back. I was talking to my wife there. In Norwegian. She was asking me if she could interrupt the stream if one of our kids has a nightmare and she has to take care of the other kid. I have 3 kids and that doesn't go too well with doing this. But if I was living with my mother at 29, I would be a sad camper. I tried doing a dual commentary with her in Arena actually, but there's nothing wrong with her English, she's just a bit less vocal than I am. And of course she doesn't quite share the love of Total War games that I do. She plays, but she mainly plays stuff like Rayman, she's played Tomb Raider, Grand Theft Auto, Disney Infinity. No, she's not 12 years old. Playing girly games for the most part. What I'm really looking forward to is doing live commentary with my oldest kid. She's 4.5 now. When she's like 6, 7, she has the worst English, and I'll just let her comment on what she thinks is happening on the screen. That would be MLG. Because she does that already. She's like, Daddy, are we going to go and shoot the bad man? Daddy, can we shoot that one? Daddy, can we shoot this one? Ooh, looks like they are ready on the Daisitsu-san Bazin. Finally. I guess there are people trying to get their final daily victories and the gold now in Arena. The rush for the 2k gold. Earlier today, my daughter asked if we could go outside and shoot some animals, because she hadn't seen that before. And I was like, well, why do you want to shoot some animals? Well, we haven't shot some animals before, maybe we could have them for dinner. So she wanted us to go. There are no rattlesnakes in Norway, but she wanted us to go and look for rattlesnakes and shoot them. So I sort of made a compromise. We shot her toy dinosaurs with toy crossbows. So that was fun. So let's have a look at AnLei's army here. Only a workshop and a farmhouse this time, so smartly done by the pumpkin here in denying AnLei the possibility to get a reload shrine. But AnLei, of course, being a seasoned Shogun 2 player, brings a completely different army this time. We have, let's see, we have Naginata Samurai, Naginata Warrior Monks. So this is a full-on Naginata spam. But Murky Pumpkin has left the game. Wonder why. We didn't eat the toy dinosaurs, no. she watches the normal cartoons for kids her age, I guess, like The Land Before Time and the Disney movies. Frozen is a big one. So nothing too gruesome, I think. Let's see, maybe something was wrong with the army setup here. Don't know why he left the game. Yeah, that was the best fight ever. If only the first battle was as short as that one. Just waiting for them to rehost. Frozen is great though. There we are, they rehosted. I'm going to go and spec. And who the hell is Alton? He got kicked. That's good. So fortunately, Murky Pumpkin, unfortunately Murky Pumpkin left the game. Hopefully he doesn't have any computer issues. Oh, he's back in. Great. Yeah, same setup he says, so there wasn't anything wrong with his army. Oh, he said it was his connection that dropped, so now they're going to jump straight into the battle again. Full on Naginata spam from AnLei. Completely different from his previous army. But it makes sense considering the map. And also really considering how close the previous game was. That could easily have gone either way. That sounds like what Dawson Whelan is saying here, that he's asking, do you think they're going to add samurai generals to Arena? I think that would be a topic for a video where someone plays, let's say, plays Skyrim and talks about if samurai generals would be OP in Arena. Alright, so he has 4 sword attendants, then he has Naginata Samurai, 21 melee defense. Naginata Warrior Monks, 23 melee defense. Quite insane. Another Naginata Samurai. Then he has his sniping bodyguard still. AnLeiTung zum Sieg. I've tried Gekkoju for Warband, but I do like what's it called, 1258 AD and Clash of Kings better, I think. It was nice enough, but not really my cup of sake. Light cavalry for AnLei, way out on the flanks. AnLei just doesn't bring any cavalry in this battle, just goes Naginatas and his bowgen. Dawson says, why would someone care about samurai generals when they are playing Skyrim? Well, I've wondered that myself as well, but I've noticed that some YouTubers make videos about other games while playing a completely different game and talking about things that are not in any way related to said game. So that was that was what I was getting at there. So, here we have some Yori Samurai together with Light Cav, Yori Cav. We have some Yori Oshigaru, Vanilla, then we have Daikyu Samurai, 200 range, 72 accuracy, 45 ammo.
Units, my lord.
More Yori Oshigaru. We have the Melee General, Yori Cav, already in range here with the Daikyu Samurai. But AnLei seems like he was able to avoid getting shot in the face there. Down on the flanks, there's really nothing AnLei can do here with his Light Cav. Too many units down there for him to contend with. The Warhammer mod for Mountain Blade Warband is decent. It isn't as polished as the other mods, but it's a lot of fun. Naginata Warrior Monks chasing off the Yori Cavalry. Someone wants to see the MLG matchlocks. This is MLG Naginata spam. The Warrior Monks are dropping so quickly to these bows, so AnLei needs to rush in here as quickly as possible, because these Daikyu are going to do so much damage to his Naginata Warrior Monks. So it seems like it's YOLO time for AnLei, going in with his attendants first, together with the Naginata Warrior Monks. And the Yori Oshigaru, they have their spears down here, ready for the sword attendants. But they're taking a lot of damage. They'll take even more now from the charge of the Naginata Samurai. Sneaky unit of Naginata Samurai, getting a great charge here against the Naginata Samurai of AnLeiTung. Cavalry smashing through the center, sending in some Naginata Warrior Monks here to stop the Yori Cavalry. Yori Cavalry charging into the backs of these men here. AnLei is losing a lot of men, starting to waver all across the battlefield. Popping Bonsai to stay in the fight, nicely done. So now the center is going to stabilize. Another Bonsai being popped. And Murky Pumpkins, Yori Oshigaru, they are holding out though, but they're not getting that many kills. And Murky Pumpkin keeping a sizable portion of his forces in reserve, while AnLeiTung's forces are mostly engaged. So he's about to get a rare charge here by Light Cav, and the general getting caught by Light Cav now, and losing a lot of men in his general's bodyguard, escaping through the Naginata Warrior Monks though, but this is not going AnLei's way at all. When Bonsai starts wearing off, he's going to be losing so many men, and I don't think there's any way that AnLeiTung is going to be able to salvage this. And yeah, Shogun 2 extremely micro-intensive. Hit the wrong ability at just ever so slightly at the wrong time and you're basically fucked. The charges happen so quickly, it's super micro-intensive, very punishing towards players who don't have good micro. Naginata Warrior Monks here trying to get into the Daikyu Samurai, but the Daikyu Samurai looks like they are going to be able to get away from here. So now they're charging into chasing away the horses of the general's bodyguard. Not a bad idea at all, because now this general's bodyguard is on foot. But I don't think it's going to be enough for AnLeiTung at this point. So many free cavalry units here. Sending in the Yori Cavalry against these Naginata Warrior Monks. The Naginata Warrior Monks are going to give good account of themselves here. But AnLei is breaking all across the battlefield. Yeah, Bonsai is one of those abilities where I think Bonsai was intended to be used as a charging ability, but where most players use it to prolong a combat, to stay in the fight longer essentially, make the unit unbreakable, and it makes much more sense to use it that way. But in this case, Bonsai made AnLei hold out for just a bit longer. But yeah, what the mix is saying, that unit, the general's unit in square formation here, he's using the stand and fight ability to increase the defensive capabilities of his men around him. So he's going to be immobile, but he's going to massively boost the defensive capabilities of the units that are within his radius. So that's why the general was dismounted and in square. could be a dangerous thing to do, but against AnLeiT's army here, AnLeiT didn't really have anything to counter that. Now the general gets smashed, and very nicely done here by Murky Pumpkin. Completely decimating the Naginata spam of AnLeiTung. That was a fairly decisive victory there. Nicely done. So now the score is 1-1. It's a best of 5, so the first player to get 3 victories is going to take the series. Yeah, this was the first game was long and kitey. This game was short and brutal. Nicely done. Let's have a look at the unit statistics. Yeah, the Naginata Samurai and the Daikyu did a decent job. So did the Warrior Monks and the Katana. The Waku Raiders, of course. I missed that unit completely. For AnLeiTung, the Naginata Warrior Monks, basically all of these Naginata Warrior units do a great job. But the problem is, though, he didn't really have any cavalry. His sword attendants just died. And his bodyguard not being a melee general, I think that sort of punished AnLei a bit in this battle as well. Slumbering Settlement is picked by AnLeiTung. Goodbye, Wesley. Thanks for joining. I think Murky Pumpkin's army in this battle was very nice. Strong defensive center, a lot of cavalry, light on the skirmish, but really an army perfectly suited to counter AnLeiTung's army there. They picked the map alternating, so they pick the map. First AnLeiTung picked the map, I believe, then Murky Pumpkin picks the map, and then AnLeiTung picks the map. So they pick the map alternating. So both players now need to win 2 battles. The first one to win 2 battles is going to take the entire series. Dawson says, I think your 15 minutes of fame is starting to waver. You should have brought some Eagle cohort. Probably should. The Marvelist is asking for the link to the live cast, and I don't... okay, I'll try it. I think that's going to work. Because I can't alt-tab out of the game, unfortunately. There are a few tournaments going on in Shogun 2, and it's not that hard to get the game, actually. It's quite fun. And many of the players who were really good in Shogun 2 barely even play Attila. Cavalry is very powerful in Shogun 2, but there are more ways to counter cavalry in Shogun than there are in Attila. The first tournament I played in Attila, there was a 10 cav max, and the entire tournament I brought like 10 cav, 4 infantry, and I didn't lose a single game. Horse heroes are great for joining a cavalry fight, but they die just like any other unit if they get charged by the cavalry, and they of course die to missiles. Game full. One modifying factor against cavalry would be slightly more diverse maps. Like, cavalry doesn't do that well in forests. But I think cavalry shouldn't even be able to charge at full speed in a, like in arena. If cavalry charges full speed in a forest, they're going to be losing a lot of men. And I think a massive bracing bonus and a massive charge deflection bonus to infantry in a forest would make a lot of sense. Charging with cavalry in a dense forest, just riding in a dense forest with cavalry is hard enough. But charging in a forest at full speed, that's not really going to happen. Well, yeah, usually the player with the best and the most cavalry is going to win, considering equal skill levels of both players. Then the player with the most and the best cavalry is at a major advantage. There are some modifying factors there. For example, with the Sassanids, having the Armenian slingers means that cavalry is rendered a lot less effective than it would be otherwise. Yeah, there was a cavalry. There was a cavalry charge in the forest in Gladiator. But it's better than it was at release. But I think slingers with slightly more range would make sense, and a better bracing bonus for spare units. Less ability to knock down the entire unit and pull out without taking casualties. Yeah, Gladiator is easily my favorite, obviously my favorite Roman era movie. Although it's, in terms of historical accuracy, it's not it's not that historically accurate. It doesn't need to be, because it's such a great movie. There haven't been too many other good Roman era movies. The ones that have been made have usually been quite shitty, in my opinion. The Lost Legion and stuff like that. Barely watchable. AnLeiTung is ready. Now we're waiting for the pumpkin. Magic in War in Total War Warhammer could be really interesting. Now the thing that wasn't really showcased in the Battle of Blackfire Pass is how mages could be dealt with before their OP spells hit. Like, how many cannonballs does it take to kill a mage? How easily can mages get sniped by flyers? How easily can mages get taken out by ranged units, for example? And if the mage is basically just like a standard man model with a few hit points, then the mage could get taken off very easily. The thing with the slingers that's so weird is that in Rome 2, slingers would have good range, good armor penetration. Then in Attila, they would have shit range and no armor penetration. And in Arena, they have good range but and decent-ish armor penetration. It's very inconsistent. That's the way I hope magic is going to work. Like, if you spend massive funds on a mage that can end the world, it gets taken off the field by a single Doom Diver. That would be great. Third game now between AnLeiTung and Murky Pumpkin on the Slumbering Settlement. The score is 1-1. Hello, Carl_. Glad to have you. So let's just not show AnLei's army too much. Before the game starts. I'm sure there isn't any stream sniping shenanigans going on, but just in case, we can have a look at the foliage blowing in the wind instead. And you tell me, but I think this looks better than the foliage in the grass in Attila. The trees as well are not bad. I hope for magic there would be something like the more orcs are fighting, the faster magic regenerates for the greenskins. The less orcs are, so the greenskins basically have to get stuck in before they can start using their magic. To have some faction specific magic like that. And also a big thing in the Warhammer tabletop game, of course, is the ability to dispel enemy spells using dispelling dice or a dispelling scroll. So being able to do that would be really, really nice. AnLei is ready. Slumbering Settlement, we have the 3 dojos in a line. Then we have forests on either side. Fairly balanced map. And now we can take, they are both ready, so we can take a look at AnLei's army. AnLeiTung brings his Naginata warrior monks, attendants, Yari cavalry, one Yari, one light, Naginata warrior monks in the center. He has a much like Ashigaru. Then he has a line of Yari cavalry, Yari light cavalry, his general. This is his melee general. Then he has long Yari Ashigaru and some more Yari cavalry. For the pumpkin, we have Yari cavalry, some Yari samurai all the way over here, Matchlock warrior monks, Yari Ashigaru, and the Yari cavalry took a bit of damage there, not too bad. He brought some bow samurai, Yari Ashigaru, and Ooh, AnLei's light cavalry about to just rush into the Yori Ashigaru here. But they see it just in time, turn around. Some line of sight issues in the forest. Going over to cap the archery dojo here is AnLeiTung. He's always going to also going to go and rush towards the farmhouse. And AnLeiTung is also going to go over and start capping the shrine. Yeah, just go and get a drink. I'm just going to tell them to not play, not do anything while you get that drink. Light cavalry here, rushing towards the Matchlock Ashigaru. Taking fire, but they're going to be able to get in here. But I don't think they had a charge here. So AnLei is going to be able to support fairly well. And just chasing away the cavalry here with Naginata warrior monks in the forest should do a decent job here against the cavalry. So Pumpkin is one light cavalry unit down. While AnLei is capping the morale shrine, that could be huge. He's also got the archery dojo. And the matchlocks opened up by killing the better part of a cavalry unit here. AnLei definitely getting the better position in this battle to begin with. But the samurai archers, they are doing damage to these sword attendants, but that's not really an important unit. Light cavalry running about trying to get into the bow samurai, but they weren't really able to. And let's see what's happening over here. These units have started fighting. Seems like the Yori samurai are being broken by the Naginata warrior monks. They were fairly heavily upgraded, so that makes sense. The Yori cavalry gets shot on the way in by this Matchlock Ashigaru. They got into the light cavalry, but they're probably going to break before they're able to kill yep, they broke. So over here we have Yori cavalry. Oh, very nicely done here by AnLeiTung. Rushing around, getting into the back. Great way to take care of this this Yori cavalry of Pumpkin. Over here, the light cavalry dying in the fight against the Naginata warrior monks. Mad push towards the center here from Pumpkin. Long Yori Ashigaru being plopped down in the forest. These units are going to be able to hold their own very effectively against this Yori Ashigaru. Yep, the longer range of their weapons is really going to help them here. Getting a charge with the sword attendants against the Yori Ashigaru. Very nice. And... ooh, shit. The cavalry broke the flank of Pumpkin. And... now the light cavalry and the Yori cavalry could rush in here against the Nodachi. The Nodachi, of course, having bonsai, so they could be kept in the fight for a long time. But AnLei is doing a good job in this battle. He's starting to surround. He's starting to surround Pumpkin here, getting a good charge here against the bow samurai with his light cavalry. Great way to use the light cavalry, killing a number of the bow samurai. He's going to lose the light cavalry, but it doesn't really matter. The light cavalry did a great job there. But he did lose here, over here, significantly against the Nodachis and the Yori Ashigaru. In the center though, his long Yori Ashigaru racking up monster kills. The general on stand and fight could be dangerous if the long Yori Ashigaru start to get in. Naginata warrior monks getting hit in the front and the back by fire cavalry and light cavalry. Shouldn't break instantly. They are one of the few units able to stand up to this punishment. Now AnLei is doing fairly well in the center. His long Yori Ashigaru, 159 kills. That's a very cost-effective unit, but it needs to be careful because it could get charged by the Nodachi samurai in the flanks here. And now the Avatar's bodyguard looks like he's going to try to mount. The Nodachi samurai charge into the long Yori Ashigaru. Long Yori Ashigaru, basically a pike unit. And look at how the Nodachi samurai is a superior unit in every other way aside from in the frontal engagement. They just get smashed to pieces. And AnLeiTung has so much left here on the battlefield, whereas the forces of Pumpkin are rapidly dwindling. The Nodachi are holding out, but now AnLei is sending in his Naginata warrior monks in support.
Our men are
getting some nice kills there against the Nodachis. And AnLei is starting to completely surround Pumpkin. Pumpkin doesn't have anything left now. Very nice cavalry micro by AnLeiTung in this battle. And just as I say that, he avoids this unit of Yori Ashigaru and gets into the Matchlock Warrior Monks, stopping them from firing for what could be a very important amount of time. The Naginata Warrior Monks are moving around the flanks as well. So Pumpkin calls the GG, and this was a very, very GG. AnLeiTung completely outplayed Pumpkin in this battle. So AnLeiTung is going to be up 2 versus 1. Needs to win one more battle and then he takes the series. Pumpkin needs to win 2 battles. Doing a lot of damage here with the Matchlock Ashigaru. And the general is being slaughtered now by Naginata Warrior Monks. But this unit of Long Yori Ashigaru, 246 kills. It's killed 2 complete units. Very impressive there. And putting them in the forest, so maybe Pumpkin didn't see that he was facing a Long Yori Ashigaru to the front, because it's very easy to take a quick overview of the enemy army and then just count, well, Ashigaru, Ashigaru, Ashigaru. But if you aren't aware that it's a Long Yori Ashigaru, then they are going to be able to wreck every single unit you have frontally. Thanks for that, Dawson. It's nice to hear. That was a good game. So let's see the unit statistics here. Long Yori Ashigaru 277. Extremely impressive performance. Gets almost 3 times more kills than the Naginata Warrior Monks. And for Murky Pumpkin, his Nodachi Samurai do a great job until they run into the Long Yori Ashigaru and just die. Bo Samurai didn't have the time they needed to do enough damage. They were charged by light cav. Great use of light cavalry here. 1200 experience for that light cav unit. That's pretty decent. The highest of any unit here. And let's see how the Matchlocks did in this battle. Matchlock Ashigaru, 84 kills. Not bad. But thing to consider with the Matchlock Ashigaru is that they will have contributed to breaking units as well. And that, of course, doesn't show up in the kills. So units with fair effects that are able to break enemy units, while they may not get the kills that units that just kill shit do, they can be extremely important in breaking other units and allowing other units to get kills. So GG, that was a good one. Now, if AnLeiTung wins this battle, then AnLeiTung takes the entire series. So now Murky Pumpkin needs to bring out his MLG game. Murky Pumpkin selects Hapo Ridge as the next map. And that is an interesting one. AnLeiTung has chosen well for his armies. Like it's fairly obvious that he picks an army that fits on the map he's playing on, of course. Aside from in the map that Murky Pumpkin picked. In that map, his army was just demolished by Murky Pumpkin. But it was nice to see that he went with a very matchlock heavy army in the first one. Then he tried Naginata spam. Then he goes fairly balanced and does really well with that balanced army. Hello, Sahir. Be right back. And back. Well, we're going to be seeing AnLeiTung is up 2 against 1. So we're going to be potentially seeing 2 more games. If Murky Pumpkin wins this one and the next one, then it's 2 more games. If AnLei wins this one, then it's going to be just 1 more game. I don't know when in 2016 Total War Warhammer is going to be released. I'm really excited for it as well. I just hope it's going to be a bit more polished than Rome 2 was at release. Good luck, have fun, and we're about to start the game right now. Hapo Ridge. Right, let's just look away from AnLei's army for the time being. Hapo Ridge is a bit cramped. We have the dojos in the center. Then we sort of have... You could either see it as no man's land or places where you can sneak a few units past here, down by the right and the left flank. The map becomes a bit cramped because of this river down here. So anyone wanting to cap the dojos need to go down. And over here, of course, this is the sword dojo. It could be very important in traditional Shogun, because, well, increasing melee attack and charge of all units, that is potentially massive. Quite a lot of forest as well, but some open lanes where cavalry can do damage. If the infantry just stays in the forest though, it can be hard to use cavalry well on this map. Let's have a look inside the dojo. Let's see if we can find a window here. AnLeiTung is ready. Here we are. No one is currently practicing in the dojo. Now we can have a look at AnLei's army. He has Naginata warriors on the flanks, Naginata attendant center. He has a melee general this time. Yori Cav, Light Cav, Naginata attendants, Lone Sword Ashigaru with Bonsai. 2 of those it seems, together with some more Naginatas on the flanks. So it's a total of 4 Lone Sword Ashigaru with Bonsai. Very good unit. Now for Pumpkin, we have Naginata attendants, Yori Ashigaru. We have Matchlock warrior monks. 1 Matchlock warrior monk, 1 Nodachi on the flank here. Yori cavalry. We have a cavalry unit running around in the back here. Very early cap by AnLei with his light cav. But Pumpkin is coming in force, and while that is happening, we get the first cav engagement. Yori cavalry charging in and doing a lot of damage to the light cavalry here. Nicely done. He didn't lose too much from that engagement at all, but he needs to be careful here because this light cavalry could get wrecked, but now he moves up his support, so he's fine. No skirmishers, no missiles on the field for AnLeiTung though. The light cavalry manages to get in and charge the general of AnLeiTung in the flanks. Nicely done there. In the center here we have some matchlock fire supporting. Naginata attendants running into each other. Lone Sword Ashigaru also running. It didn't seem like any of those units got a proper charge. But these Naginata attendants are of course losing decisively now. Over here AnLei is pushing away the flanks of Pumpkin. In the center, mad cavalry dash with the Yari cavalry against the light cavalry and the Yori cavalry here. AnLei managing to retreat with his general's bodyguard, but he's going to get hit again in the rear. This is massive. General already down to about 20 men, but this Yori cavalry is going to die. So we have the Lone Sword Ashigaru holding their own here against the Yori Ashigaru in the center. The flanks are being overpowered by AnLeiTung. AnLeiTung also managing to take care of this this light cavalry with his light cavalry, it seems.
Our men are running from the battlefield.
Let's have a look at the center. The center fairly stable, but the Lone Sword Ashigaru is starting to waver, using Bonsai, very important. Now they're going to stay in the fight for a long time. Nice rear charge here with Naginata warrior monks, using Bonsai to get his Lone Sword Ashigaru to stay in the fight. That Bonsai on Lone Sword Ashigaru is so important. Getting some Yori Ashigaru off the field here, it seems, with his Naginata warrior monks. Nicely done. Yori cavalry straight through the center into the Matchlock warrior monks. The Matchlock warrior monks are going to be basically off the field now. Bow cavalry here, firing into the Yori cavalry. And this Yori cavalry into the back of the Yori cavalry is going to do fairly well if they can catch it here. The Avatar's bodyguard standing and fighting here, but it seems like AnLei is getting the better of most of the engagements. He also, let's see here, yep, everywhere except over here though, but he's sending his Naginata attendants in here, nicely done, into the back of the light cavalry. Should be able to take care of the light cavalry, using Bonsai when there are only 60 Lone Sword Ashigaru left. So this allows them to stay in and hang with the Naginata warrior monks. The center of AnLeiTung is starting to look a bit shady, but once again using bonsai to just stay in the fight for longer. Naginata warrior monks crashing downhill into the general's bodyguard, and even though he's standing and fighting, he's going to be losing a lot of men here. And the matchlock warrior monks could cause friendly fire to the general as well, so that is a bit of a problem. But he is probably going to die. At this point, there really is nothing that Pumpkin can do. AnLeiTung has overpowered his center. He's winning on the flanks. He manages to get into the general. The matchlock warrior monks down to 23 men. They got 100 kills. But yeah, the general is going to be off the field momentarily. And AnLei is just chasing away the units. GG has been called. And very nicely done there by... I've seen that particular setup being used to great effect in other battles. The Lone Sword Ashigaru Bonsai charging in, doing damage just when they're about to break, hitting Bonsai, stabilizing, and then managing to stay in the fight, which enables them to hold superior units for much longer. So very nicely done there by AnLeiTung. He takes the series 3-1. And using completely different armies in all of the battles, which was nice. And I think this was a nice showcase of different armies that can be really powerful on different maps and in different circumstances. We saw the skirmish kiting games. Then we saw AnLeiTung going full Naginata spam, and he was just dismantled. But in the other battles, in one battle he used his long Yori Ashigaru to great effect, together with very good cavalry micro, and of course in this last battle, great display of how to use Lone Sword Ashigaru and why you shouldn't use Bonsai on the charge, but wait and then use Bonsai. So hopefully you enjoyed this little spontaneous livecast here. And I will be doing more of these. Some might be announced, some might be just like this, where people ask me if I can do some live commentary, and if I have the time, I will. Strength and honor.